We got two people. I was starting to think that one person on there was just me. I was kind of hunting around on YouTube and eBay and just kind of I was bored, but I didn't feel like going to bed yet. So I was like, well, it was like quarter of 11. I was like, hey, I'll just throw the live stream up. And it really promoted it at all. And I figured, hey, if anybody wants to come on and if they get the notification, they want to come on and chat for an hour or something. You know, whoever shows up, shows up. I guess I could post it on Facebook.
Would you say that
So the two people that are currently on, Merry Christmas. Hope it was a good one for you. Guess I'll just throw the link on Facebook. See if anybody's bored or wants to hang out and do some pen tracing too. You guys bots? So, Mike. Is the volume all right? Okay. I saw you posted that. I just saw it quickly. Your Kinwald build. You finally found some wide fives for that? Just posting a link to Facebook quick. I don't really pay attention to them. Like when I built mine, it was mainly to run it, the vintage Nat, so I wasn't worried about like any of that stuff. When I built mine out of the 2014 World's Car, and so I have another one from an actual Kinwall kit, and I don't really want to go like the whole. It's like I'm not worried about really making it like super accurate, but I want it to be. I want to get it as close as I can with like what's available now. So like I got like the new MIP CVDs for it because the new ones, they have like the bell style, they don't got that rib on it. So I got those for it. Joe made me some body mounts for it like he did for my 2014 car. What else was I going to do that? Oh, I happened to find some HPI wing buttons for it. Just happened to like kind of stumble across those on eBay one night. And it was like $12 shipped or $15 shipped. I was like, okay. So I grabbed those. I don't know if I really like using them on that one, but we'll see. I don't know. But I don't have another. Yeah, I don't have another. Like kind of like one that was used all original parts and all that kind of stuff. That I would need those. Like that, I would put those wing mounts like on that car. So they'll probably just sit in a box for a little while. What else did I get for that? I want to get a set of the fan RC ball cups and the turnbuckles, mainly because they kind of resemble the RCPS ones better than the associated ones. So get the ball cups, the turnbuckles. Like I said, Joe made the ball cups or the body mounts already. And I got the CVDs. So it's really just a matter of doing a little bit of the mods and stuff that need to get done on the chassis yet, and modify some of the plastic stuff, the bulkhead and the arms and all that shit. And I got to get some hardware. Other than that, it should, go together pretty well. Tires, I don't really know what I want to do about tires. I definitely don't like the kit ones. I thought about using the tires from the Masami kit. I mean, they're not quite like the 89 kit. They're not, exactly like the flat stubbies, but they kind of have that look to it. So I thought, well, I could throw those on. And I don't really know what I want to do about the fronts. I'll find something that looks, kind of similar with it, like modern tires, without putting old stuff on it. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's where that one is. The flat 80s aren't bad. I feel like I used to have a lot, like a good amount of tires and wheels, and then over time it's like, well, I don't really need those for anything, so you sell them. And I've held on to like a pair of I don't remember 81 15s. So I think that the actual world tires are like the 8105 or something like that. And the 8115 are like the Wi-Fi's, but they only got the 4 grooves in them. So I have a new pair of those. And I have a new pair of 80s, I think. Yeah, the Quattro rib. And I think I have a new pair of 80s. Other than that, I don't like. I have like maybe like a couple different pairs of like IMAX tires or CRP tires, something like that. I don't really have a lot of that stuff anymore. Because like I have like the tires like for whatever car builds I'm doing. Like I have the tires for those. So um, if I didn't really, like, actually kind of thought about using those tires on my ultra molded. But then I didn't. I don't remember when I sold that. I don't remember what was on that. I think I had low CX patterns and HT ribs on that. I think when I sold it with the HPI 5 stars, if I remember right. Yeah, it used to be pretty easy to get like vintage tires. Um, I don't have, they're not new, but I have like a super nice pair of flat stubbies, and I kind of thought about putting them on uh, the Kinwall car. I may still do it, um, but I have some other kind of builds that I think I'd rather use those on, being as though they're not that those are ever like readily available, but you could get them fairly easy. Um, Especially if you kind of knew who to talk to, you could get stuff pretty easy. So I may just kind of I'm not getting rid of them or anything. It's just a matter of what I want to use them on. Um, I still have like a kind of a like a factory team-ish kind of B15 like in my mind. Um, that timeline wise they'd probably be pretty good for, but I could also use like an 8082 or an 8083, somewhere around there would also probably work. Um, but we'll see. The one I know I have two that I definitely need that I want to do. One's kind of like a sport, so I got like gold shocks and stuff for it, and it's gonna have the 68 23 rear tires on it with like a 2-inch 3-piece wheels and stuff. It's basically like a B2 sport wheel set. Those are going to go on that. And then the 1B5, like the first one that I built, that one's still basically a shelf clean. So I have flat stubbies on that one. So we'll see. I think the one that I built already is probably going to kind of become that like factory team one. And then like I have basically 2 other builds. So one's going to be a sport. And the other one I kind of thought, well, I'll do it like a team cars would be like a sport, a team, and like a factory team. That's kind of what I was going for. But yeah, the one that's already built, that one has a new set of flat stubbies on it. So they may stay with that one, and I'll just find something else to put on the team version. Sets of what? Just like vintage tires in general. I used to have some really cool tires too. It was like over the years, they just the tire box gets a lot smaller. It's like you don't need a box that big anymore, so you start downsizing. It takes up less room. Even wheels also. I don't really have a lot of wheels like I used to either. Hey, what's up? I don't know. Probably not. Like not. Yeah, I know. I mean, if like the right thing came along, if I did anything, it'd probably obviously be some kind of like an oval pan car or something like that. I kind of would like to like uh, remake the 10LSS that I had. And it was basically a stock 10L or a 10LSS, but I had the composite craft chassis on it that had like a nice swoop on the right side. I see them every now and then on eBay or something like that. But I don't know what it is, but I just have this thing where I'm kind of not interested in building stuff that I raced in the 90s and like 2000s. Because like dirt oval stuff is like every time I get like a big boy toy sprinter or an Ascot sprinter, a Dominator, I plan on building them up and all this, and they just sit, and then I end up selling them. And the pan car stuff is kind of the same way. It's like, I mean, I didn't do a shitload of pan car stuff, but yeah, I don't know what it is. I just don't have that. It's like almost like I've been there, done there, or been there, done that kind of thing. So I just don't have the interest now. And I think another thing is because I didn't really race off road because there was no off road around here. Pretty much anywhere. I mean, you'd have to drive. Like I would have to drive like closer to Philly or something like that to find. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hour ride to find. There was like I don't remember what it was called, like DC Ultra Tracks or something like that around Philly. Yeah, so I just when it comes to the like restoration of the stuff, I just don't have the interest isn't there. Well, and that's another thing. It's like if you have sometimes you gotta have like the right people kind of pushing stuff um, for things to take off, and timing. It's all about timing too. Yeah, I don't know how well that 12L kit did. For Associated, it's a lot of money for a 12L kit, but um, now I have like for me actually carpet like to get it like another 10 LSS and build it up like my old one, I'd still be able to race it because there's an oval track that's not that far from me. And that was another reason I think that the I I kind of lost interest in the oval like doing anything with the oval stuff because once I kind of got back into like racing more or even just going to the track period, there was really no oval stuff around here. But now there is. So, and there has been for the last couple of years. So um, I have a pan car for the oval. So I just run breakout because it's like I don't have the time to really dedicate to the stuff and like really be like hunting down setups and all this kind of stuff. So the breakout, I can just like kind of once you figure out what the gearing is, it's like you don't got to do much of anything to the car because they're already slowed down, and you just you can't turn faster than a 5 second lap. So I mean it's actually it's actually harder than it sounds to run consistent like 5 second laps and not break out. And some guys are like really good at it. Sometimes I think I'd rather uh, just run 17.5 and however I do just trying to get the most out of the car and it is what it is. But the with the breakout, I know I can only go this fast, so I'm not like tempted to spend money on it and everything else. I can just get the car to where it runs 5 second laps consistent and have a good feel for the car and I'm fine. And then they have a dirt oval outside and a dirt oval inside. Um, so I kind of wanted to get my Terminator kind of back together for the indoor track because where the indoor dirt oval is now, that's where the carpet oval was for like the first 2-3 years. And on the other side of the building, they had slot car tracks. So I think they sold 2 of the slot car tracks or 3 slot car tracks, kept the drag strip, the 124 scale drag strip, and then um, moved the carpet oval to the other side, and then put the dirt oval in where the carpet track was, and then there's the dirt oval outside. So I didn't really want to run like Mud Boss or anything like that, and I didn't know if I really wanted to race oval again or not. So Mark Baldwin let me borrow one of his. It's like a B5 conversion. It's a BBE. It's basically a B5 based, B5M based sprint car. So I'm currently kind of putting that together. Hopefully, I'll get to run at least a few races indoor, and then I'll have it screw around with outside. And this is I think the Losi Sprinter was kind of already out, but here again, I didn't really want to drop a bunch of money on a car that I may not really use. So with this, it's just a matter of putting um, the Hobby Wing Just Stock 13.5 setup in it, and well, it could run 10.5. It's still a Hobby Wing motor, and then you get the ESC's open then. But I don't really know about running 10.5 yet. They're pretty quick. So I was like, I'll just run a 13.5. And the other thing is you have to run a I can't remember the name of the tire company. It's like a spec tire. So it's like, I don't gotta buy I don't have to get a bunch of tires and try and find the best tire, combination. Like quasi speed. I can't remember what the tire's called, but all like I don't remember what they call the class. I know it's just a 13.5 class. But everybody runs that same tire. So it just takes a lot of the guessing and figuring out of the equation. So, I got to get my feet wet with the oval stuff again. And that'll be the easiest way to do it. So you're all ready for next year then? Yeah, I don't really look at I had a street weapon when I got it used, but it was only like a year old, I think, maybe 2 when I got it. I got a TC3 shortly after they came out, and then there was a good deal at Trains Lanes. It was just hanging from the ceiling. So I grabbed it for like, I don't even remember how much it was, $75, $100 for a street weapon roller, and it has some extra springs and whatnot. So I think I got it for like $75 or $100. I didn't really race touring car much, but there was when Hobbytown, where the hell was that? Hobbytown kind of opened up somewhere in Allentown. 99, 2000, something like that. And they had some parking lot races. And I raced my TC3 over there. I think I ran the street weapon over there once. I like the TC3 better with the shaft drive. But yeah, then I ended up selling both of those because I didn't really need them. I have thought about getting another one though. Well, I need to find the right TC4 because I want to make another, like my BC3 that I made with the TC3 the TC3. I want to do another one with a TC4. So basically make a two-wheel drive buggy out of a TC4. So I've been kind of keeping my eye out for the right one to come along for that. But Trains and Lanes has, years ago, they blacktopped the dirt oval track. And we run band car and stuff out there. And then when touring car got popular, they'd set up a course and stuff on the blacktop. And it had got pretty overgrown, and the blacktop's not the best. There's a decent like crack in it. I mean, if you're going fast enough, you're going to notice it more on a pan car than you would a touring car. But Yeah, there was a lot of just grass growing up through all the cracks and stuff. But it looks like somebody, maybe October time, kind of went out and like cleaned it up and laid some of the pipe out that was still there. So I don't know, maybe something will kind of start there next year too. Um, but like when the vintage Trans Am stuff was, pretty popular, they were running them there and stuff. The street weapon definitely had a shit more steering than the TC3. But the shaft drive, man, the freaking TC3 just got up and went. Other than like a little bit of torque steer, is pretty good. I still have a couple of my. I have the Protoform Stratus that was originally on my TC3. It's over there, and the the body that was on my street weapon. It's on a TL01. So I put a Protoform or a Proline, same thing, I guess. One of that Alfa Romeo bodies on it. Yeah, that's an Accord. I think that's an HPI Accord body, I think. Yeah, I like the Stratus body. It's over there somewhere in a bag. Yeah, the car's dusty. I see the dust floating. No, I don't know anybody doing it. I'm sure at some point someone will. They'll make them out of aluminum or whatever. I mean, it would. I don't know how different they are compared to the '89 car, like the '89 and '91 car. But I mean, if it were me, all those RC10 and all the other associated kits, it came with a tree of 0, 1, 5, and 3s for rear arm mounts. So, they could do it. Or there's no reason they shouldn't do it for the stealth cars. But I just put 1.5 hubs on it. Same thing. Same deal. Because it already has like 1.5 in the arm mount. So you just put another 1.5 on the hub and you're fine. I know they're a little tricky to find, but the truck ones are a lot easier to find than like the buggy ones. Or like the ones for plain bearings are a lot easier to find than the ones for what's the 63, 66 are the buggy ones for the flange bearings, and I don't remember what the truck ones are. Thankfully, I had a couple pairs of the 1.5s buggies, so like the correct style, but I don't have any. They're all in black. I don't have any nice white ones, which kind of bugged me out. But I don't even know that I'm actually even going to run that car. To be perfectly honest, I'm almost kind of leaning towards just kind of building it like I was planning on racing it, and just letting it sit. I don't know. Even when like, I think these cars don't really. They're not as. They don't hit with me. Like, yeah, it's cool that they're making them, and you can, buy them as a kit and all that kind of stuff. But it's like I've had a Nix 91 over here for like 10 years that I still haven't finished. So it's like I've already had like a decade of a 91 stealth car, right? So other than just being able to buy one and all the parts are in the box and you just build it in a couple hours, you know, it's not really, it doesn't really do anything for me. And kind of the same with the 89 car. Like actually, I actually like the 89 car better than the 91 car. I just always have. I was bummed when they just threw a stock production trans case in it instead of making one that actually looks the part. But I digress. But I actually like that car better than the 91 car. I kind of thought overall between the two of them, you'd have I think you'd have a better chance of getting the 89 car to work on a good amount of tracks than you will a 91 car. So if anybody didn't like how the 89 car handled, I really don't think you're going to like how the 91 handles. I wouldn't, I'm not, some pro or nothing, but I'd bet money that it's going to be worse. It would definitely be good at Roostpalooza with how rutted that track gets and blown out it gets. It would run good there. Because I was planning on getting my composite crap world's car finished for that. And I was almost thinking of getting I don't have any more. I had quite a few kits, but I don't got any more of the low C. What was the part number for that? Was it 1012? It was like the carrier and caster block and knuckle for like the LXT and it was like the LXT and GTX or whatever. But it was basically a copy of the RPM World's steering enhancement kit. But the arm on the knuckle kind of follows along with the 10T ultra molded arm. So it's a little longer and a little more of an angle. So I had made a set where I shortened the knuckle and then put the ball stud, kind of like buggy placement. So I think I'll try and look for another pair of those or a new pack of those and then alter the arm again and kind of do the same thing because it raises the nose. It gets the suspension up off the ground like the 91 Stealth does. It drops the axle down, below the arm and all that stuff. But we'll see. Either that or I'll just run. I mean, I don't really care. I don't really. The Roostpalooza, I don't really care how I do. It's just fun ripping around on the loose dirt. Yeah, the biggest thing I like the trans more than anything on the 89, and that's why I was like when I saw they just threw a production one in there, I was like, it's like the fuck. So I have to get a fucking Grand Prix 3D one to put in it just so it has that kind of aura to it. But kind of going back to that, also I have a Grand Prix 3D 89 car. So like when Associated comes out with theirs, it's like, well, shit, I already got one. So it's and then I built that one for Daniel, and it got here, and maybe because it wasn't mine, I was just building it. I didn't really have any kind of It's like, yeah, it's cool. It's all here and it's all in the box. So I think it's because, like, probably because that one wasn't mine. But I got one for myself. But it's the same thing. It's like, well, now I already built one, so I'm just, you know, throwing another one together. And because I already had the Grand Prix 3D one, yeah, it was like, meh. So yeah, I don't have the Grand Prix 3D car. I kind of thought about getting one, just or thought it'd be cool to have one, but I already got a Nix 91, so it's like I don't need that plus a Grand Prix 3D, and now Associated coming out with one. So it's like I don't need three of them. And the Nix 91 I've had for 10 years and haven't even finished it. So you use that, what, the JC Racing case with the B6 diff? I kind of wish, Associated offered the machine bulkhead, the machine front bulkhead and arm mounts for 89 car. It's like, well, why don't you machine a stealth case that looked more correct? I think they would have sold a lot of those. They can still do it if they're listening. Machine prototype, stealth case, 89 car. You'll sell a bunch. Or you sell enough, maybe. But yeah, that was and then the aluminum chassis kind of was like, but I totally understand why. It makes total sense to make an aluminum chassis. If you're wanting people to race it, the aluminum chassis makes the most sense because there is not a lot of meat around the arm mounts and shit in the back of those. Yeah. I mean, I would rather them just put the carbon one in there and charge, because of what they're asking, 80 for the aluminum ones. Just they could have just made the kit $500, or whatever it needed to be. But the aluminum chassis is the way to go if you're going to race it. But that's kind of where I'm going with. I don't really even know if I want to race mine. It's like I think I'd rather just kind of build it to like the world spec, like the IFMAR world spec. And get a carbon chassis for it, get the machined arm mounts and bulkhead, get one of the Grand Prix 3D trans cases, and just put it on a shelf, I think. And honestly, if I got one of the if I got one of the 91 cars, I have a feeling it'd probably be the same thing. It's like, yeah, they're cool and all. I got like so much other crap that I could run. Yeah, that's another thing. I wasn't doing like my 89 car. I'm not doing like Masami. If I got a 91, it ain't getting done like Masami. It's like I got 4 or 5 Masami replicas already. It's like I don't need stealth cars being Masami cars too. Now my Nix 91, I I was doing that like Kinwald's car, so the trans is dyed red and all that kind of stuff. Um, but I did that so long ago that the dye is already coming out of it, and all it does is sit in a case or in a like a Tupperware bin. So I have to re-dye the case. Like I said, I haven't. It's not really even all that far from being finished. I just gotta get a set of shocks for it, and I think I have all the electronics for it. I got a motor for it, like for replica purposes, for wheels and tires. Yeah, I really just gotta throw shocks on it. I got a body for it. Just gotta paint it. So it really wouldn't take much. I don't know, just got uh, lost interest in it, and that's why I'm not like super gung ho of these stealth cars. I think they are Coop. I'm pretty sure they are doing a graphite chassis for the 91. I think one of the pictures that like on Associated's page where they have the picture of the car with all the parts, there's a chassis there. So it'll be an option. I mean, the reason why everybody does it like Masami's is because Masami's cars are the ones that have all the pictures, right? Like there was only 6 of the 89 cars. Well, there's no pictures of them. So it's like you don't know how the electronics were laid out. You don't know exactly what I mean, you can get an idea of the electronics or what electronics a certain driver was using by going like, the rundown of the race, the race stats and stuff in the magazines. So you can get a decent idea of what should be in there. But you don't really know how it was laid out and all that kind of stuff. So to do like a Halsey replica or a Cliff Lett replica, it's like, yeah, you can paint a body up, but you don't know what it really looks like underneath. So like with now my Grand Prix 3D car, I was kind of planning on doing that one like a Masami car because I was pretty sure that I know I'm not going to race that one, and it already has the carbon chassis and everything else, and all those parts were basically designed for or as a Masami car. Same with the AE one, but I would definitely race the AE one before the Grand Prix 3D car. So that one will get done as a Masami car. But yeah, this other, if I get one of the 91 kits, I don't really know how I would do it. I'll probably just like build it, and I would probably just do it like the 89 car. I was gonna kind of build that like, well, how would I have built it? Right? Like, how would I have painted it back then? How would I have, whatever. So that's how my 89 car is going, my associated one. And then probably going to be the same thing if I get one of the 91 kits. I'll just kind of do it like how I would have done it, how I would have painted it back then. And I didn't have like my own like paint scheme back then. I did with my slot car racing. I had my own paint scheme, but I never put that on any of my RC stuff. My RC bodies back then were simple as shit, like 3 colors, no fading, just yeah. It was basically like a Dale Earnhardt paint job, right? Top and bottom with a stripe between, and different colors. But yeah, I mean, unless I need a car for a certain race, like all my vintage nats. Like, so I build a brand new car for every vintage nats, and then I race it, and it gets retired. All the electronics are still in it, pretty much just the way it came off the track. Um, for a while, I was like I was swapping when I didn't have a shitload of electronics. The electronics would swap cars. But then I got to a point where I was able to just buy electronics for that car, and then they stay with that car. And I would just for a while, I was pulling the receivers out, and just swapping the receivers between the cars. But I ended up getting a new radio and retiring my old one. And a buddy of mine had given me a bunch of receivers that were for that radio that were in all my other cars that I had pulled receivers out. So I was able to go back and like replace the receivers in quite a few cars. So a lot of my, like, I say at least the last five, I think the last 5 vintage Nats cars are complete, other than a transponder, the way they came off the track. But yeah, other than that, if I don't need it to race, it's like I kind of lose a little bit of interest in stuff, and then it just sits, and I'll go back to it later. But there's only so much money to go around too, so it's, racing is expensive. That's kind of one reason why I didn't do it for many years. I kind of I'm gonna buy out, back rooms, the hobby shops, and I'm gonna do restorations and search eBay for parts and that kind of shit. And I was perfectly happy and content doing that. And I raced once a year at the Vintage Nats, and I was perfectly content doing that. But then I just got a little too much of the racing bug back in me, and then it's like, okay, well, now I'm building cars to race locally, buying B2, B3 lots and all this kind of stuff. So now all the shit that's here that new builds, kind of shelf queen stuff, just boxes of new chassis sets and parts and stuff in a box that is supposed to be a car one day. The shit's just sitting because there's only so much money. So that's why this year I'm kind of taking a little bit of a break. So I'm gonna do my 310Talk races, the Vintage Nats, and that was supposed to be it. But then with the J Concepts Outdoor Nats or National Series, the ONS, one of them is going to be at Adrenaline. So it's like, well, shit, I got to go to that one. So now it's my races, my 3 races, the Vintage Nats and the ONS at Adrenaline. So that's the only big races. Other than that, it'll be Carpet Oval and Dirt Oval stuff throughout the year at RJ's or maybe Pheasant Land. I mean, if I had more money that I could just buy all kinds of shit and just really keep going on stuff, I would probably build more. But I can't. It's like I'd really like to get some new batteries and maybe some newer speed controls and stuff. But I just make do with a lot of 5-6-year-old stuff or more. Yeah, money is always a friggin' issue. Oh, back to Mike. Yeah, I'm hoping they do. I mean, it would make sense for them to do a Matt Francis B2 if they do it, I hope they put a stealth in it and make it just like the prototype. Um, but doing that, it kind of screws them if they ever wanted to do like a B3. Not that it screws them, but um, alterations have to get done to a stealth case and a motor plate to put it in a B2. And they're going to have to create a mold to do that because, heaven forbid guys get a Dremel and do shit themselves. But if they wanted to do a B3 or something down the road, obviously it'd be easier just to put a 240 in the B2, like production, and and it's good. But I'm hoping if they do it, they put a 225 in it. The 91 has the 440 screws in the arm mounts. I didn't really look at it at all, and I honestly don't remember. Yeah, I think my Nick's car is that like that too. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with the whole. There's not a lot of meat around those arm mounts, especially these small screws. But I'll have to look. Like I was saying, I'm not like as it's cool and all, and yeah, I want one, but I'm not like super excited to have one. If that makes sense. Because like I got enough crap. I don't need more shit. It's like I'd actually like to I'd like to dwindle some of this stuff down and get rid of some shit, but it ain't worth it now. I mean, with all this freaking Riri crap out there now and everybody making all kinds of parts and shit, it's like, I ain't giving the crap away. You can just stay here. I'll get to it eventually. I sold the Rory one. I don't remember where, and I don't remember who bought it. Who bought that? Oh, Vin bought that. It's in Australia. I like that too, with the Nasrum ESC and shit. I had thought of because I got built. Actually, my favorite one is the Brad Ralphs one with the purple chassis and shit. And I did that, and then I wanted to get some other stuff like done or like buy some other crap. So I asked Brad if he wanted to buy it. And or actually I think he had it. I think I sent it down to him to check out. And he had taken a picture of it and stuff because he still had his Winter Champs trophy. So I took a picture of it and stuff. And I wasn't like in some hurry to get it back or anything because it's just going to go sit in one of my totes, And I wanted to get something. I wanted to get something. I don't remember what it was. And I said, "Hey, just want to buy that?" He's like, "Yeah, how much?" And I gave him I didn't overcharge him or nothing. Gave him a very fair price. And so I bought it. And then with all the re-release cars and I had really stocked up on the re-release stuff. from the first go around with buying cars and either new kits or barely run ones off of Facebook Marketplace, and then just loading up on parts. Um, I After I sold that to him, I was like, well, why don't I just build another one and then race it at the Vintage Nats? So that's what I did. And when it came time to paint the body, when I had my body done, because he doesn't have his original car. He was going to make another one. So he was planning on building one. And when I had my chassis stuff for like the OG replica done, he sent me parts to have a chassis set done for his replica. And same with the body. When he still had his original body, so I sent my body to him, and then he sent all 3 bodies out to get painted, and then he sent all 3 bodies to the painter, paint mine, paint his. They had the original one to go off of, and then so I got mine back, put it on the OG one, and then he bought it, so he had that. Well, being as though he now had my replica, he didn't really need to build another replica, so he sold me his body that was already painted. So, I was able to just get it and trim it and put it on and stuff. And I think I ran that in the 2021 or no? Shit, I don't remember. 2019. It was either 2019 or the 2021 Vintage Nats. I know it wasn't 2020. But same thing. I had thought about doing another Rory Cole car like that one, and now they got the red chassis. I mean, it's not like as nice as the original ones were, but I could get a red chassis and the red tub and a buggy nose, and then just put all the Riri shit on it. So I could make that car actually pretty quick, and make it for some Vintage Nats or another race or something like that. But just like all my other ones, I got to run. I'd have to pay out my ass for a Nasrum ESC and all that shit. But really, that would be the only thing I'd really have to spend a lot of money on, I think. Obviously, the chassis set wouldn't be super cheap. But I could probably have one actually painted fluorescent red or powder coated fluorescent red cheaper than it would cost to buy a new associated one. And I have another another 2024 World's car. I have one that's complete. That one there's already plans for that one or how that one's getting built. And then I got like 70% of another one. So that one, I guess I could sell the World's chassis set that's in there and then buy, because it still has the mill chassis and shit. So I could sell that chassis and then buy one of the red associated ones and build it off of that. That's an idea. And then the only thing I would really need to spend a lot of money on is a Nasrum speed control. And I think those, I don't remember what their Nasrum, they're basically a red LRP Flowworks team. I don't even know if that, they used to be able to get them fairly easy on eBay. I haven't looked for them in a long time, but I know I'd probably have to spend friggin' 2.5 to get one, and that would hurt. But I have a certain way I like to do those, like, modern replica kind of deals. So that's the one I'd have to splurge on something, and that would be it. Yeah, no idea on the AE race. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be out west. I was when the Vegas kit came out, and I was like, oh, they got a whole shitload of 2014 World's re-release parts on that. Towers, the bell crank, the um, what else was there? Oh, the wide front axles, the B4 front wheels, and they already put that updated trans in the Kinwall car, but they put it in the Vegas car also. Yeah, the Vegas Towers or the World's Towers. They used the Kinwall battery hold down, but that's kind of World's ish. So when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I wonder if they're gonna do the world's car again. But it hasn't dropped yet, so I don't know. I don't know if they'll do a mill chassis worlds again. I mean, it would make sense now. I mean, you might as well. All you gotta do is mill some tubs. They already got everything else that they put in the. I mean, really, the only difference is, well, they don't get the V2 shocks in there, the threaded shocks. But yeah, the Vegas car is basically a 2014 World's re-release. It would, like I said, I kind of be surprised if they did a World's car if they hadn't done it already. But like I said, at this point, it would be super easy to do it because they already made World's towers and shit for the Vegas car, and so all you gotta do is uh, mill up a tub and they're done. Just use the same tires and shit from the Masami cars. Be close enough. Let's see if I missed anybody. If I missed any questions while I was rambling. Yeah, I think I'm caught up. I don't think I missed anybody. Pretty much hit on everything. But I really should probably unload some stuff to get some other stuff in or get some other stuff done, but I have a hard time doing it. especially if it's like kind of hard to find stuff or it's like shit you don't see all the time, like to sell that crap to get a bunch of freaking re-release crap. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about those is that they powder coat the motor plates too. It's the only thing I don't like about like when anybody does that because it doesn't help dissipate heat when you powder coat them. Obviously, if you're not really racing it, then it doesn't matter. Then you're just you're just using it to look pretty, or you want it to match. They do look good though. When I built my was that 92 Masami, the 92 JMRCA Masami car. The tub was green. And I had bought some. It wasn't like a super nice car. It was like kind of like used parts and everything on the car was pretty much used but nice. And I filled a couple holes that were in the um, tub with the PC7 because someone had said that the PC7 could hold or could take the heat from powder coating. Well, I was like, I'm going to try painting it first. So I just got some aerosol. I thought about getting some like House of Pearl or not House of Pearls. Who made the Day Glow paint? Actually, I think it was House of Pearls. But anyway, I was going to buy some of that and do it like base coat, clear coat. But I was like, that's going to be expensive. And I was at Lowe's or something one day. I was like, oh, there's some fluorescent green. I'm going to paint. I'll just paint the tub with the aerosol. And I did it. And honestly, it really didn't look all that bad. But I was like, eh. But at the time, I was having this powder coat place do a bunch of red stuff for me. So, like, this is around the time where I did that. We were doing that J Concepts Clifflet, like I called it the Moo Point oh. Because I was like in 2016 or 2017, I think I did that with Jason. But I had a chassis powder coated and all that. So the place that was doing that, I saw they had a green. It wasn't fluorescent green, but it was like a neon green. And you didn't have to paint. It didn't have to be white first. You could just put that straight on the aluminum. So, after I did it and I didn't really like it, spraying it, I stripped it down and had them powder coat it. And the heat affected the PC7 a little bit. But it wasn't terrible. So because there was like some holes in the tub sides for something. I don't remember what was there, but it was like one on either side, and it wasn't for the servo access. I don't remember why they were there, but there was two in the sides of the tub, and there was two near the front and two in the back on the sides. So I filled all those, and like the heat from it they swelled a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. So that car I did, that one was powder coat with just like a neon green. It looks pretty close to the fluorescent, like in pictures anyway. I don't really have interest in vintage Losi. I mean, I've had a handful of them. And honestly, it really comes down to being an oval racer and not an off-road racer. So, I started racing in 91 and I had a junior T. And the Losi trucks were really good, like clay oval trucks. And the 10T hadn't even come out yet, right? So it was like the the Losi was better than a truck converted RC10. So, and then once the 10T came out, I think the JRX-T was, or the JRX-T and the Junior T were still better than the 10T. So I raced my Junior T up until like 93 or 94 when I sold it. And when I sold it and then I buy another one or another Losi, anything. And then RC10Talk started in like 2006. And that year, I found a new built Junior T on eBay for $30. Just a truck, no box or anything like that, but it was new built. And 30 or $35. So I bought it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to make a replica of my truck that I raced. So I had done some of the stuff, but mounted the Proline foams, the mounted foams stuff on it. I had a Proline Chevy truck body on it, so I'd found one of those to put on it. And space the shocks out, cut the arms level, all that kind of crap. And I never painted the body. I never put electronics in it. I never did nothing else to it. And eventually I sold it. But I had an ART Agijammer, Losi Agijammer. I had one of those, restored that, and got rid of it. I had a JRX-T that I built a Jay Halsey replica out of from the ETQ to the Winter Champs in 91. He finished second to Cliff with the debut of the 10T. And at the race, they raffled off Jay Halsey's truck after the race. So they were selling tickets. So like after the race, they were going to draw a number. Someone's going to win it. Well, Jason Rona ended up winning it. And, but they pulled all the electronic. I think Jason said he left the battery in it, maybe, but pulled all the other electronics and stuff out of it. And he got the truck. So I had made a replica of it, probably early 2010s ish. And then when I was kind of like feeling like moving stuff on, he was really the only person I offered it to, because I figured, who better to have it than him, because he didn't have the original one anymore. And he had, I think he had made a comment or two, like, hey, if you ever want to, So when I decided to unload that, he bought it. And then I've had 2 or 3 JRX2s. I had a Pro. I didn't race any of them. They were all just, I got them and would clean them up and stuff. And then I'd have them for a little bit and then I'd sell them. But now the only thing I have, I like all like the spare Losi, and I didn't have a lot of it, but any spare Losi stuff that I had, I just had like a shoebox full of it. I laid it all out here, took one picture or a couple of pictures and put a price on it, and somebody bought all of it. Because I just wasn't really interested in doing any other Losi stuff. And then Grand Prix 3D came out with the 91 Worlds prototype. So my buddy Vin got me one of those And he found me like a really nice Pro S. Well, I think I did a video of it a couple weeks ago, or 2 months ago, or whatever. A really nice Pro SC to use as a parts, like a donor to build the 91 prototype. So that's the only low C I have, is that Pro SC and the Grand Prix 3D 91 Worlds prototype kit. So, and I don't really plan on. I wouldn't mind finding a double X. And I don't really even want to race it because I don't want to be buying a bunch of parts for it. But I would like to have one to compare to like my B2s, my B3s. You know, and that's really it. Other than that, I don't really care. And a lot of it's just mainly because of parts. I have a shit ton of associated stuff, so it's right now it's easier to just stay in the associated bubble instead of branching out. And like, you know, some guys like, oh, I'm gonna get this platform and I'm gonna buy all kinds of spares and this and that. No, that's not me. Nope. It's like I got spares for the shit I have. So I just run the shit I have. But I would like that. I mean, there's a lot of I'm hesitant on running like the printed parts, and the Grand Prix 3D car is obviously printed stuff. But I think I might actually take that one out and try it just to see how it does. I might not get crazy with it. You know, maybe run it at like, you know, if we keep doing the Roost Paloozas and stuff with the loose dirt, you know, more like kind of tame track, you know, no crazy jumps or anything like that, where you're just kind of, you know, racing the conditions on the track. Maybe I would run it on, do something like that with it. Probably make the most sense. But yeah, I don't really have no real interest in like buying more JRX2s or Pros or anything like that. What's up, Jake? Yes, I like low-C stuff, and I give people shit about running low-C stuff, but yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't have anything against it. Not like Kyosho. What are you up to tonight, Jake? Yeah, and that's the other thing. That's like when the Grand Prix 3D kit came out, I was like, shit. I sold all my low-C crap, you know? I was like, oh, there's Jeff, my new Kyosho dealer. Jeff became a dealer for Kyosho stuff, and he sent me a text message about how happy I was going to be. I know, just for me. Just for me and my one Kyosho Ultima. I have like exactly the same number of like competitor cars. I have one Losi. I have one Kyosho. I have one. Well, I have a couple Tamiya cars that I actually raced. There's only one. The Man Ray. And so I got my Midnight Pumpkin that I got in '88 or whatever. And that TL01 that's over here that I pulled out earlier. I think that's it. Oh, and that BBX. Yeah, Tamiya BBX. And I'm either selling that. I was going to list it on the forum. I'm either selling it outright or it's going to become a waffle, I think. One or the other. It's going to become something. Because I was going to let my grandkids run it, but I have something different in mind for those two. So, yeah, I just want to move that on and put it towards something else for those two. Something more like more 10 scale bug, 2-wheel drive 10 scale, more of a race buggy than I wanted to have that thing done for a Roostapalooza race back in March because I thought it'd be kind of cool to have like a trailing arm car on that service. But I was like too lazy to paint the body and shit. And but yeah, it's all together. The body's still clear and unpainted. Got a Reedy brushless system in it. I have an RB10. It's all new. So new brushless system. Car's new. Just needs a low profile servo and somebody got to put their own receiver in it. Paint the body and you're good to go. The suspension is freaking great in this. It probably would kick ass at Roostapalooza. But the tires are glued already and ready to go. But yeah, I just want to get something different for those guys. I got them two of the, one each. The Axial, the SCX 24s. So they're having fun with those today. Out in the rock beds. Out front and down the side of the house. I was having a little fun with them too. Probably end up getting one of those at some point too now. So if anybody's interested in this, hit me up. Because I'm either selling it outright or it's going to be a waffle for 10 Talk. I kind of went over my thoughts on the 91 car. It's cool. Am I super stoked about it? No. And it's purely because I've already had a Nix 91 for 10 years or more that I haven't even finished. And even if I got one, I don't even know if I would run it. I don't know. Like I said, it's cool from a standpoint of being able to get it and open the box and all the shit is in the box. It's not like the Nix 91 where you got to buy, or you have to have the kit and then you got to buy all like the hinge pins and the shocks, or get a 10T donor for, for the, ball studs and hinge pins and the shocks and the trans and everything else. It's all in one box. And especially if you want to make a Masami replica, it's all in the box. But yeah, I'm just not, it's cool and all that. It was the same way I felt with the 89 cars. Like, yeah, it's cool that they're doing it. And when I got the one to build for Daniel, when it came here to build for Daniel, and I opened it up, it's like, hey, this is cool. All the shit's in one box. But it's like, I already had a Grand Prix 3D 89 car that I've been for like 3 years now, that I've been like putting parts away for. So it's like, well, I already got one, but I bought one anyway. And it's probably what's going to happen with the 91 car. I can't buy one right now, but I'll probably get one at some point. But yeah, it's just, and another thing, I don't think with how bad, I didn't really think the 89 car was that bad handling wise. And I always say that because, everybody made a big deal about it at the Vegas race. Now, I wasn't at the Vegas race. So, look, watching the video, the mod live and stuff like that, and seeing how the cars were handling, hearing what guys were saying about how the car was handling. When I originally built Daniels for the Vintage Nats, when I was building it, I was seeing things that was like, well, all right, we'll just build it, get it on the track, and see how it is, and then make adjustments from there. So like I could tell there wasn't enough rear toe in it. I knew it had a 25-degree caster blocks, but I was like, 25-degree caster blocks tend to help like a stock RC10, like give more, steering on entry and stuff. So I was like, okay, we'll see. We'll leave those go. I kind of said to myself, this car really looks like a B2. So I pretty much threw my B2 shock setup at it. But I didn't move the camera links in the back or anything like that. I just knew that it probably needed more toe, and it was probably going to have a good amount of steering, especially with the servo being moved further ahead also, because there's a lot more weight on the nose. So, and the car's just, kind of heavy overall, with that chassis is heavy. So when we went so I had it all ready to go to Vintage Nats, and I like put a bunch of shims in the front shocks to reduce the amount of droop. I ran truck springs instead of the kit springs, and threw it on a track. And it was still kind of nose heavy. Like the nose just didn't have a good pop to it on the jumps. And it was a little loose, like on throttle, but it wasn't bad. So, I took maybe 3-4 laps with it, because Daniel wanted me to try first because I built it and stuff. And I was like, do this and this to it, and then go out and see how it is. So basically, went the stiffer spring up front, and I told him to move the battery. I had it up towards the front, and I told him it was a shorty lipo. So I told him to move it to the back. And other than that, I don't know what all else he tried, but every time I looked at the car on the track, with a few different guys driving it, I didn't think the car actually looked all that bad. Um, and like I said, it's a car that you never raced before, and you just kind of, I think this will work. I think this will work. I questioned the hubs. I questioned the caster blocks a little bit even before going, and it kind of showed up on the track. So before he went to Vegas with the car, I said, put 1.5 hubs in the back so he gets like 3 degrees. And I don't think at that point I told him to change the caster blocks. But while he was there, because we had like a messenger, kind of a messenger chat with a handful of guys in it. And we were trying to give him, kind of set up ideas and stuff. And I had brought up about, because he was saying how much steering the car had. And I told him, well, you try putting, some 30-degree blocks in it too. I don't know if he did that there, but so yeah, I mean, I think in time you could probably work out a decent setup with that car. I don't think you're gonna. I think it's gonna be harder to get a good setup in a 91 car. So that's really like my thing with the 91 car. It's like, yeah, it's cool. You'll be able to buy the kit, open it up, all the parts that are in there, and you can build it. But I see that car being a lot more of like, that was even, I think that car was more purpose built than the 89 car. So like I said, it's still cool, but I don't personally have like oh man, thank fucking, like, I'm not like head over heels for this car. And like I said, mainly because I got a freaking Knicks car, been over there 10 years, and I haven't finished it. So I'll get it. I'll get one of these eventually, probably, kind of a fear of missing out kind of deal. But whether I race it or not, I don't know. It'd definitely be a good for like the loose dirt race that I put on at Insanity. It would probably be a really good car for there. But some of these other tracks, man, I just don't. I don't think it's going to work all that great. I mean, guys will be able to get it like to where it's, pretty good, but you could probably put a friggin' a team car, a stock team car on the track and turn better laps. Yeah, and with the copper springs, it's like you don't know. They're not giving you spring rates of what the springs are. They're uh like for the Kimmel car. Yeah, he had black springs in the front, green springs in the back. So those are the springs colors those are the colors that they put on the springs. I don't know if they are like the spring rates of the old springs. So, uh, Associated didn't have copper springs; they were Yokomo springs. So, are they just some random spring rate that they make copper, or are they the same spring rates as the copper springs? That's like the kind of the kind of shit you don't know. So it's like, yeah, they needed to be copper because that's what was on the car and that's what they're copying. But they could be just some shitty Chinese spring or some random Chinese spring. So, like, can you tune your car with them, basically? Or are they just colors? Though I do believe they're larger in diameter because they have the Yokomo style retainers on them. So who knows? Maybe they checked that too and made sure the springs that they got were accurate. And if that's the case, that's cool. And if they sold them in pairs or sets, that'd be even better. Yeah, I kind of doubt they're the same, but you never know. I mean, it's totally possible that they are. But I don't have a tool to check the spring rate. But I was curious how like the springs in a Killwall kit compared to like an OG green and black spring. Because at least that way you know. But they're not selling them anyway, so it really doesn't even matter. And I guess the Schumacher, like that, I don't remember what they call them, like their vintage spring kits. Those work, but I I don't think that I gotta remember. I don't think the rears go as soft as like I would have liked to see. Like they stop at like 230 or something like that. And a rear green associated is like a 2.0 or a 210 or something like that. So, the Schumacher ones stop a little stiff. So if Associated doesn't want to freaking come out with the small springs, either as pairs or in sets, uh, or in like the rear kit, front kit, it'd be cool for Schumacher to turn up some thinner ones or turn up some softer ones, at least for the rear. I think the front has a good range, but the rears, I think for associated cars, to use them on associated cars could stand to be a little softer. Yeah. Yeah. 45 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be. There's still a good amount of guys on, so that's cool. And I don't got Schumacher stuff either. There was one Schumacher car. I don't remember which one it was. I was like, oh, that'd be a cool one to have. I don't even I can't even put like the names to the model or like what the car looks like to say which ones I want. Yeah, no on big bores. I'll look at the. So I thought there was only a vintage front and a vintage rear, and then there was like 7 or 8 pairs in each one. And when I looked at them before, it looked like the softest one for the rear was like a 240 or something. And I was like, that's still like a little stiff because like that's even stiffer than an associated silver rear. I'll have to look. I'll look into that again. But I mean, I still have like I don't have a lot of associated springs left because like my thing with because I got too many freaking race cars or like cars that I could just take off the shelf and go race. Um, I have too many of those, plus all the cars that I build for the vintage nats and then retire. I lose like greens, like I lose greens or silvers every time I do that. Uh, so I run low on greens and silvers a lot. Well, and that's if they're um, well, even in blue, like they had the blue springs for the front of the 4-wheel drive. Well, those are obviously stiffer because, but are they the same spring rate as the old blues? So I would say they already have silver. I think silver's out. Um, they have the green from the, at least the green from the Kinwall car, the on the rear, the black buggy front for that came on the Kinwall car. I don't remember the Vegas car. I think is green rear and black fronts also. The '89 Masami car were black rears and black fronts, but the black fronts to me on that were kind of stiff. Um, so I mean, they have, depending on spring rates, I mean, they have black, green, silver, and blue fronts. They just need to, if they're accurate um, to the original in spring rate, they're not, and not just painted colors to match the replica. Man, just put them in bags and sell them. That's what I'm saying. It's like uh, if they make them and if they are different and they're comparable to the old ones, there's, I mean, just put them in a bag with a header card. Yeah, 2.7. Yeah, so it's they're just like they're a little too stiff. Um, at least for an associated car, they're too stiff. Now, typically, I run greens a lot, uh, and I'm almost positive an associated green rear is like a 210. I think the blocks are like 190s. So, yeah, 2.7 is stiff. I think the range on the front, I mean, it's even the front's a little overkill, I think, with how heavy they go. But I think there's a good enough range on the front Schumacher kits uh, for an RC10. But yeah, the rears are stiff. I can swear I saw a pair of $30 green ones on eBay yesterday. You know, it wasn't all that long ago. We used to, as I said, guys are so spoiled today. I mean, we used to buy complete cars just to get like a set of turnbuckles or uh, to stock up on ball studs. Yeah, we buy 40 and $50 CEs all day long on eBay just to get hardware. Now it's like 20 companies out there and they all got the same shit. Except for Jeff at Factory Works. My Kyosho dealer. They might not have been 30, but they were expensive. There was something else I saw on there yesterday when I was looking. I was like, holy shit, are you serious? We got to get your charger, Mike. All the way. Take care. I'm probably going to be hopping off pretty soon anyway. It's almost 1 for me. I don't feel like working tomorrow anyway, but gotta get up to the garage at some point. Yeah, so even if they don't come up with spring kits, it'd be nice if they just start putting them in pairs like they used to. I watch all kinds of shit on YouTube. It kind of depends on sometimes like depending on what the not the profile pic, but the image for the video or the what the hell they call it? It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, some real car stuff because I used to have a real car channel, like a 1-1. Well, my thumbnail. I still have it. I just don't do anything with it because it was like I put a shitload of effort into trying to make good car videos or good like it was just tough. Especially working on customer cars, it's like you can't be fucking around setting up cameras and shit. Working on customer cars, yeah. So, and it was just too much of a pain in the ass. So I kind of stopped doing that. It's still up and people can watch the videos and shit, but I don't really do anything with it. I haven't posted or anything on there in probably 2 years. But like RC stuff, the RC Vintage and Guru's World. What's Ari's was Retro RC? That is Ari's it's Retro RC. Trying to think of it's late and my head ain't working. can't think of the other RC ones I'm subscribed to. But a lot of times there'll be ones that like kind of pop up, in the thumbnail. Thank you. The thumbnail looks interesting or whatever, so I'll sit and watch it and see what's what. But I'm not really into like. There's not much modern RC that I'm really into, like almost at all. So I don't really watch a whole lot of that. If it's not kind of vintage based, or at least have a decent amount of vintage aspect to it, I don't bother. Oh, Dr. Master Ronaldo's channel, I watch when he puts videos out. That's kind of, and then I don't really watch the news much, so I get a lot of my political and world stuff, basically on YouTube. So there's podcasters I listen to and that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of it's kind of weird with like YouTube's algorithm kind of sucks too. It's like it's weird sometimes. Like some of the other like earlier videos from the 10 Talk channel, man, it'd be like nothing for them to get like over 1,000 views, right? 1,500 views or whatever. But I didn't post for a while, right? Like I was trying to be kind of consistent with it, to kind of stay in that algorithm. And I didn't for a little while. And it was like, man, I could tell I was out of it, right? Like the videos weren't getting put in the suggested thing and all that kind of crap. And the only way you keep that up is like, 2-3 videos a week, just consistent and that kind of shit. And like sometimes I just don't feel like it. It's not like it's hard making a video. I just freaking sit here with my phone and make something. But like as I'm like kind of running out of stuff to do videos on, because like I said, I don't got the money to just keep buying shit and just keep like moving projects along, and I don't have stuff that I want to get rid of. So it's like I can't sell stuff to get funds to put towards something else because I don't really want to sell something. So I'm just kind of in this spot, right? So I just kind of do what I can with what I have until I can, move forward with something. But yeah, so that's why I try and come up with whatever I can just to make some kind of content. I always have like big grandiose plans to do some big, video and shit when I go to the vintage nats. Oh, I'm gonna take all kinds of video and interview guys and do all this shit. And then it was like, well, as soon as I get there, it's like Racerhead. And it's like, get your battery charged, get out of the track. And then it's like, I almost don't even take pictures at any of these races. Now, like my races, I try to like focus on it because there's no live RC feed for guys to watch. And so it's like, if to try and get the races, I'm not really trying to make the races grow like exponential or nothing. It's like the place can only hold so many guys, so it's and it's really a 1-day show. So you don't want to have like, 200 guys there. But no one's gonna be able to see it if I don't film the races and try and put some kind of a video together. So Nick DeVito had done uh, 2 of them, I think. What the hell's his name? Cameron from LRC. Jason Rona had him come to my first race, which was last year's Fall Brawl, and he did a video for 4J Concepts of my race. And then this year we had the Roostpalooza, and Nick did that one, and he took a video and stuff, and then made a video, and then he did the race in July for the vintage shootout. I'm almost positive he did. And then he wasn't able to make it for this year's Fall Brawl. So between me and Mark Baldwin's wife, we were able to get videos of all the mains, the A mains anyway, and I could edit some kind of a video together just so guys had something to watch. And other guys that might be on the fence of coming, see how the racing is, see how the track is, and that kind of stuff is, maybe I'll go next year. Maybe I'll go next time. So, no problem. Thanks for watching. I mean, as I said, with the real car stuff, that was a big reason why I stopped doing it, because it was like I put all kinds of time into like, filming shit. Like I painted a Cobra body, a 67 Cobra body, and went through like all the freaking stages of, wrapping it up and prepping it and all that crap, wrapping it up, wiping it down, getting it in sealer, base coat clear, sand and polish, all of it, right? In 2 years, it had 80 views. And it's like, fuck that. I don't need to, take all this shit, waste all this time editing crap, and for 80 views in 2 years. It's like, nope, done. So, and if the RC stuff gets to that, I'll do the exact same thing. It's like, screw it, it ain't worth it. But like I said, to do this, to just grab something, and I do it right here, just set something up and just film. So, and I just use my phone. There's nothing fancy. And, people are obviously getting something out of it, or else they wouldn't watch. So, I mean, I'm definitely not in the algorithm right now. But honestly, it's kind of like some stuff like when the Kinwall kits came out, and I did my 2 videos. Like the first one did like really good. It was like 4,000 or 5,000 views or something. And people still watch that a lot. And same with like when the 89 kit came out, those were really good. But like other ones that are like, there's other ones that, they're lucky to get 600 views or 700 views, where earlier in the year or even last year, my kind of normal videos would get, easy, like quickly kind of go over 1,000. So it's like, I'm just kind of stuck in this window of like, 600-700 views. I mean, I don't necessarily care. But it does help. Like I haven't, eventually I probably monetize the channel. And the whole reason for really doing the YouTube channel was to help pay for the RC10Talk forum. because we got to pay for the hosting fees and to have the site. So I was like, if I do this and get some ads going and all that kind of crap, whatever we make on here can go to help pay for that. So that's the goal eventually, but I don't think you really make enough monetizing it to really make a difference, especially if you're, you know, only a little over 1,000 subscribers uh, and you got to keep up with the content, 3 videos a week and that kind of shit. I can't guarantee to do that. And I'm already running out of shit to do videos on, but yeah, the videos, it's cool. Everyone's like, I shouldn't say everyone, because there's a lot of guys that, they've already been in the vintage realm for a while now. I'm more, I don't know if you want to call it, I was, vintage before it was cool kind of a thing. So I have different thoughts about things, how I see some things. And I make comments about it. I'm not gonna, I thought about doing a video of it, just kind of throw my thoughts out there, and guys can, take it how they want, or do with it what they want. Um, but yeah, I don't think popularity is always good. Is always a good thing. When something becomes popular, it's not always great. And that's kind of how I feel how vintage is right now, and some of the things that are going on with it. But that's just me, But I'm looking at it like, next year RC10Talks we're going to be celebrating 20 years. So I've I've been in this since before vintage racing. You know, I was like, well, I wasn't really racing. I was, well, no, I was. I mean, I was racing. I was still, my last dirt oval race was 2007, and I was running the cars that I was racing in 1998. So I never, what I was doing became vintage. So it's like I've always been doing it. I didn't I wasn't one that found my old car in the attic of my parents' house and then um, went online to find out, where to get parts, and then found this place and found this, and then this whole thing. That wasn't me. It never stopped for me, and it just uh, once RC10Talk started. I mean, it was really one of the only, other than like Tamiya Club, it was really the only vintage site going. Um, so yeah, I've been here really from the beginning and kind of seen it all. That's why some things I don't really think, some things that go on I don't really think are the greatest for it. But that's because like I said, I don't want to be like a gatekeeper. I don't want to be. But it's like, man, I just have my thoughts on things. Yeah, I mean, I I'd like to try and do at least at least 2 a week. But I have to have, I gotta have stuff for content. And like I said, I'm in this spot with, I have parts to do stuff, but I can't take everything like all the way. And some of the stuff, like I could bring a lot of stuff over here, right, and do a video, but it's not enough to really like, hey, I put the ball cups on these turnbuckles, and that's all I did, because I'm still waiting on certain ball studs, or I'm waiting on something that I can even put them on, like my like my 89 car, right? So if you saw the video, I showed where I screwed up my motor plate, cutting it, the Dremel slipped, and it was taped. For everyone that questioned it, there was tape on there. It didn't care. It went right through it. So, I got another one and then cut it. But it's like I didn't do anything else to it, right? So, and another thing is, I gave the arms to my buddy Joe. I think even when I built Daniel's car, once I started kind of looking at it more like, this is a B2. I'm going to treat this car like a B2. I wanted to be able to move the hub forward and back like a B2. And there's plenty of meat on the arm to do that. So I took the arms back off and gave to my buddy Joe. So he's going to mill out a 16th on either side of the hub. So I can either run it center with a 16th spacer on either side, or an 1/8 inch to the front and an 1/8 inch to the back. So to be able to move the hub like a B2 or a B3, T3. So just to add a little more tuning options, So, and I moved the ball studs in, so I'll have the longer turnbuckles in the back, which I don't have. So Daniel had changed the turnbuckles and stuff on his car. So he's given me his originals because I need longer ones in the back because I'm moving the ball studs in, but they're the same as the front camber. So whatever he's waiting on, if you watch the video on the Vegas car that I'm building, that's Daniel's also. And the motor plate or the nose plate was misdrilled. It was crooked. So he got a hold of Associated and they were going to get him another one to replace it. So he has some other stuff that he needs to send me for his graphite car that I'm building. But he's waiting for the nose plate to come so he can send it all at once. And then he's sending me the turnbuckles off his car for this. So then once I have those and Joe gets done with the arms and stuff in the back, I'll be able to button the back end up. I put the 30-degree caster blocks in the front. They're the yellower ones from the 2014 Riri stuff. I may get some fan RC ones if they're more on the white side. But we'll see. For now, I'm just putting those on. So, but yeah, the back will have the ball studs moved in with the longer turnbuckles, the stock arm mounts. They're 1.5 hubs, and then I'll be able to move them forward and back to get a little more adjustability there. I do have I got my kit from Jeff at Factory Works, and he sent uh, he sent one of his steering system or his steering bell cranks along, and a couple other things. I don't know. There might have been towers, but for now, I just kind of want to build it like race spec using the kit stuff. So I have the stock bell crank in there. I did move the ball studs in on the steering bell crank. So yeah. So I just want to kind of get it together. And then if I race it, I race it. If I don't, I don't. But I kind of want to try. I kind of do want to get it on track and run it. But I don't know. I was planning on, not, what was I planning? I was thinking about, once I got it done, going down to Adrenaline for the day. Just to try and like work on some setup, not because of like wanting to race it at Vintage Nats or anything, but just so I had a place to run it, that it wouldn't get beat up too bad, and it would give me a better I could judge the setup better racing there or running it there. So I was like, if I go April, May or something like that. But now they're having ONS race there. And I don't think I really want to race this there outside. I'd rather go there with something I know works. So I'm probably just going to run a World's car there, basically a stock World's car. Probably my son's World's car, because I don't really have any ready. All my other World's cars are like, one's Vonats this year, another one's Vonats next year. So, but I might. Who knows? Maybe I'll get it done and run it. But I would kind of like to get the carbon chassis for it. And if I do that, then it's definitely not getting raced. Alrighty. Well, it's 25 after 1 for me, and I'm going to go to work tomorrow. Even though I probably won't go up to the garage until like noon anyway. Yeah, I would have liked to have gone, but there was just no way. Financially, no way it was going to happen. Especially with the Vintage Nats the month before. Not a chance. So I said, well, I was kind of looking at next year as a rebuilding year, because my stuff needs to get really just torn down, gone, like all my stuff torn down, all gone through, have some stuff, clean up some stuff, get some stuff reanodized, and just like freshen up the fleet. And it's like, I can't do that if I'm like, going in on rental cars and Airbnbs and $200 for entry fees and missing time from the shop, and because I don't get vacation time. So if I'm not making money in the shop, I'm not getting paid. So, or if I'm not at the shop working, I'm not getting paid. So, yeah, I can't. And then after like the last 2 years, especially with my wife with the cancer stuff last year, just can't do it. So I need to just focus on the 310 Talk races, the Vintage Nats, and that's mainly because it's only like 3 hours away. And now I wasn't planning on any other race, but then uh, the ONS is gonna one of the races that is at Adrenaline. It's like, well, I can't not go because I've been saying like the last 2 years that I thought it'd be cool to race outdoors on the outdoor track at Adrenaline, um, and it would. So I'm gonna do everything I can to make that one the Vintage Nats. The 3 RC10 Talk races are not bad because it's only like an hour and a half away, and they're only 1 day shows. And it's not some big, you know, it's not some big thing. It's close enough for me to go there Saturday for practice, drive home, and then go back the next day. You know, no hotel. Paying a little bit more for gas is cheaper than a night at the hotel. So, but yeah, I need to tear some shit down, rebuild everything, and I need to not be racing to do that. Yeah, it's just killing me. All this crap's just killing me financially. Everything that's gone on the last 2 years has just freaking killed us, me and my wife, killed us financially. So something has to stop. So I'm gonna stop with a whole lot of travel and racing and the Airbnb stuff and that kind of stuff as much as I can, within reason. Like I said, the Adrenaline one, I don't want to miss that. So, but that's kind of one of the reasons I'm not going to the North Carolina race. That and now my dog has cancer, and I don't, I don't know how much longer he's gonna last, and I don't want to be down. I don't want to be 10 hours away from home if something happens with him. So I'm just stay home, not worry about it. I missed last year too with my wife's cancer stuff. So it is what it is. So I don't have any of the fan buggies. And it's not because I got nothing against them or anything. I just don't need them. It's like I just don't need them. And I don't really know anyone that has bought one that is local to me that I've seen or that I can like have one in my hands and look at it. I do have one of his this, and I think this was actually came out kind of before the whole fan RC, but he had made a B5 in white quite a few years ago. And I don't know how many he made or sold, but Jason Rona bought one. And I don't think he really did anything with it. And last year, maybe year and a half ago, he was like, he must have been cleaning house or something. And he's like, hey, I'm sending you a box. And he didn't tell me anything about what was in it. But one of the things that was in it was this car. So it's the same one that LL Models is selling from the UK. So the reproduction B5. Initially, I think just Fan himself was selling these. And I don't know how many there were, but I know Jason had bought one. So then that LL models came out with the black one, and then they started doing the white one. So it's like, oh shit, now it's not as special anymore, right? But I do have that one. So it's a white B5 fan car. The FR01, is that just the graphite car or the composite craft copy? Composite craft world's car copy. Okay, that's what I thought. The 2 is the yeah. Yeah, I don't have any of their parts. The only fan parts that I've had were the white ball cups for that I put on Daniel's car, and I need to buy a set for my Kimmel car, a set for my Masami car, and I need like 4 sets of them. They are like a little loose, or they're better than the ones that come in a kit, which is like ABS, like a shitty kind of ABS plastic. So they're better in that respect, but they do seem like they'd probably pop off fairly easy. Thankfully, I don't. I mean, I do catch a pipe every now and then. Unfortunately, I do it in the A main and break my steering knuckles and shit. But yeah, I haven't needed any, and that's the thing. It's like I got so much crap. It's like I don't really got to go out and buy much. So I haven't really needed any of his stuff. Like I said, I needed some like 4 packs of ball cups, a set of the turnbuckles to use for the Kinwall car because they match the RPS ones from his original car nicer than the associated ones. And I was gonna grab a couple of the B2, B3, T3 bumpers because mine are free shot. So I was gonna grab a couple of those. Other than that, I don't really need anything from him. I mean, for the most part, I mean, I haven't really heard like a bunch of negative stuff about it. I did hear that the plastic is a little on the soft side or softer side. It's probably more like an RPM part, I guess. Maybe not that flexible, but not like fiber reinforced and like fairly rigid. And even the composite craft one is like I have a composite craft car, so it's like I don't even. That's not even like a kit that's like, oh man, I really want that because it's like I got one. But I mean, yeah, people seem to like this stuff. I just haven't really needed it. I haven't needed it to have it firsthand and test out. I'm sure at some point. I mean, I do get a little tired of having to put set screws in the bottom of caster blocks because there's so much slop in it. Like those freaking 25-degree blocks in a Masami kit. Holy shit. Like the original Associated cars, you had to do everything possible to get the suspension to free up. Now you got to do everything you possibly can to tighten it up. It's like the pendulum swung way too far. Way too far. You had reamers and fucking, you had to narrow up the arm mounts in the back and shit so the arm would actually slide over and it ream the fucking arm mounts out so that the arms would spin free and all. And if you use titanium pinch pins, they were like slightly bigger and you had to ream them even more. Now it's like you gotta shim everything. You gotta put set screws in to tighten all the pins up to get rid of the slop. And it's like, you know, there's no way the B7 is shits like that. I don't have one. Maybe I'm wrong, but I highly doubt all the modern cars are coming around with that amount of shit or that amount of slot. Yeah, shim life. Got to buy stock in 10,000 shims, 20,000 shims, eighth inch ID, 10,000, 20,000 shims. Yeah, some of it's bad. But man, whatever. And that's the thing, you know. Eventually, I'll probably need to buy some of that stuff, but it's like I don't. I have. If I continue to buy like my 10T, I had bought a 10T and a GT a few years ago, and I rebuilt the 10T and used it for a waffle. And I had the GT. I gave the motor to Mark Baldwin to try and get running, and he got it running and has it in a truck. It seems to work okay. But the chassis was like really nice, almost like it was replaced because the plastics weren't as nice as the chassis. So I was like, well, I don't want to use this chassis if I'm going to make it like a runner. I don't want to use this chassis, and I'd kind of rather have one of the one-piece GT chassis. And I'll put all those plastics and transmission and all that shit on that one-piece chassis. And it just never happened. So when I wanted to build a 10T for Roostpalooza, I took all the plastic stuff that I could use, like the arms, the hubs, the bulkhead, casher block, steering knuckle, all that shit, and then put it on this 10T. So I don't really have all the parts to put a GT together anyway. But if I keep using a lot of my used parts to build cars to race, I'll run out of like a lot of that kind of stuff. Because I have a good amount of used, like like OG kind of new parts. But I really wouldn't use a whole lot of it for racing. I would try and save them for like restorations or shelf queens or something. But yeah, eventually I'm gonna run out of stuff to build cars, and I'll have to use something. So yeah, at some point I'll probably have to get some of this stuff. I have no modern AE stuff. The newest associated thing that I have, I think it's a B4.1. And I haven't even used it yet. It was given to me because it was too nice for him to race, it was too nice. He's like, it's too nice for me to run. So he gave it to me, and I'm kind of in that same boat where it's like, it's almost too nice to run. So it's like, he probably should have just kept it, but I'll probably use it at some point. But I'm pretty sure that's the newest one I have. I can't think of anything else. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not into the modern stuff. Not for off road anyway. If I was gonna buy like a modern car, it'd be like a Custom Works or a GFRP uh, sprint car or something. To my stuff, I got my Man Ray that I race at the vintage races in classic, like Tamiya class. That a TLO1 and my Midnight Pumpkin that I had my first hobby grade RC that I got in like 88, 87 or 88. I think that's it. Oh, and a BBX. I think that's it for Tamiya. Oh, and a Hornet. I got a Hornet. Yeah, that's it. Man Ray, the BBX, a TLO1, and a Hornet. And the only reason why I had this is because I want it. The only reason why I have the Man Ray is because I want it. The TLO1 was given to me by a neighbor 25 years ago. And the Midnight Pumpkin I've had since I was like 10. So I got one Losi, one Kyosho, 4 Tamiya, no Schumacher. And all kinds of associated. I got my Parma Sport truck from when I was a kid. 2 ART edge jammers. Jeff gave both of them to me. Or not Agitator Juniors. Because the Agitator Junior was my first pan car. So I got 2 of those. I got a 12E. That's associated. Yeah. Yeah, everything else is associated. Yeah. The rest is associated. All right, guys. 1:45 for me. I need to go to bed. I take my dog out and then go to bed. So, thanks for chatting. Figured I was bored. Was kind of tired of just cruising around YouTube and shit. I figured I'd just go on live and see if anybody wanted to hop on and shoot the shit, basically. So Merry Christmas, guys. Yeah, we'll do this again sometime. All right, take care, guys.